Welcome back, comrades, to DIYbyNZguy, where workspace is always at a premium. Today, we're fixing our external garden hose tap. Both of my ones sprung a leak, so they're no good, so we need to create a new one, or two, but what's better than two is three that we can use outside. So I made a plan of how I'm gonna install it, measured all the parts, gone out and measured all the distances, how much I'll need, measured all the parts, went out and actually bought the parts. This whole project so far cost me about 400 New Zealand rubles. If you want to see how I made this little plan here and figure out what I needed, and I'll show you how I did it now. I'm just gonna go over how I looked out for parts just real quick. I've done this kind of thing before when I was upgrading my hot water cylinder and replacing the cold water expansion valve, or is it hot water expansion valve? Either or, I've done this before, so I'm following the same process. In this case, I had outfeed pipe that I chose. That's somewhere here. I know that I want to put one to the side, down, and out. We'll just put it to the left, to the right, to make it more simpler. I went around the perimeter of the house, just measuring up all the walls, bit by bit, and figuring out how long things are. To confirm the length, what I did is, once I got to the last point, I start from it again and measured kind of backwards, which where all these numbers come in. And as you can see, they're all add up, which is good. Same thing here, 5.6, tallying all these up was 5.6 as well. And then so forth here as well. And then adding all the lengths, kind of figuring out just here. And it worked out about 25 meters of butte line that I'll need. I also draw a quick diagram just so that I know what kind of parts I'll need once I get to the shop. It's something like this, just at the top. So I know that I'll need a connection part. Then I'll wanted to put a little tap. Yeah, it's hard to see, but there's a little tap just here. I needed to have an elbow that the tap will go. Eventually I decided to put the tap onto here, which it doesn't really matter, but it's all part of the plan. But most importantly, you kind of have an idea how you're going to do things. So you have a connector that connects to his existing pipe. Obviously this is a thread. This is the 15-18 metal butte line thread on there, so you need to connect to that. Butte line, elbow, tap, and goes to a T-junction. So that's where it comes in, splits off into two directions, one to this one going towards the other two. When it's going to the other two, it goes past this pipe. It's just drawing a diagram. So it goes to another T-junction, comes out here, and the other one follows here. So this is how much butte line I'll need. I'll need this length, this length, this length, and this length, and out here. So tallying all those up, did come up to about 25.5. I don't have some length, so you can potentially get away with buying just 25 meter butte line. Okay, from the diagram it's easy to see I'll need a T, two of those, hose plate, okay, which is what I was referring to, garden hose. So it comes with a little plate that you could put two screws in, so I'll need three of those. Okay, obviously needs a tap for them, but I already bought that, so it's all good. You know, equal elbow, I meant, you know, 90-degree elbows, so I'll need it. So here, so that's three. Shut off tap, Yep, one. Tabs for the garden, obviously that goes on the end on there, 3 of them, and the nail clips to hold the pipe to the top of the floor, or in this case basement roof under the house. Yeah, just so that they're not lying across and actually stuck up there. Cool. So got all that. So with this plan, it's easy to go to the store, just follow the plan and then find the parts and match them up. That way you're not buying too many, you're not buying too little, you're buying the right amount, because you are paying a good price for them. So it's all good. Also, I decided to go out and buy one of these tools for cutting the pipe. Luckily I found this one just for 17 rubles at the warehouse, DIY section. Otherwise you're paying like 50-60 New Zealand rubles for one you buy mitre 10 or 10 mitre or the Bunnings. So yeah, it's good. I already went out and got this on hire. It's not too expensive to hire it for a day, and most importantly you're not paying 220 New Zealand rubles just to have it, just for one job. So yeah, going and hiring one out is definitely worth it. Also, that's not part of it. That's not part of it. So I did went out and bought all the parts. Yeah. So if you want to pause, you can have a look. Obviously I had to decided to go for some premium stuff, not something cheap, because I don't want to go wrong. But there's basically, not including the butte line in this shot, but there's almost 200 New Zealand rubles worth of plumbing parts in here. It's just, yeah, as I said, this job, it is DIY, but it is on the expensive side, so you want to make sure that you get things right before you do the final crimping. Because once you crimp it, that's it. It's only one-time use. You can't reuse it unless, you know, you can reuse it, but not in my case. You can't take it off and adjust it. Just make sure we get this right. So we're gonna go turn off the water, go to the garage, set things up, and yeah, go from there. Sweet. Hopefully that makes sense. It's good to have the plan close by so we know what we're doing. So today we're just doing this little butt because we've got a cut-off valve or shut-off valve, emergency shut-off valve, whatever you want to call it. We can turn off the water, which I've done now, install it, plug it all up, because I do have a spare plug somewhere, and then we don't need to worry. We can do the rest later and just get part of it going, which is good. So for this project, yeah, obviously we'll need a tap, need a T-junction, don't need this T-junction, we'll need one of these, the little shut-off valve. There were some different ones, better ones, more expensive ones, but I decided to go for something nice and easy. It's not super high pressure, so this kind of a valve should work quite alright. Okay, that's our main one that will connect to the main outlet. And what was the other parts that I'm looking for? There we go. So the idea is, as per the little diagram, I connect to the main, goes down, it takes a 90-degree turn, connects to the little cut-off valve. Obviously I'll have it this way so I can pull it over. This one connects up there, T-junction. Oh yeah, a couple of elbows, Through the little diagram, elbow, elbow, and then it's connected there. Sweet. So we've just got all our little parts that we'll need. Just got a tool that we hired, and we've got a pipe cutting tool. Wasn't too expensive, but most importantly, it should do the job. Okay, let's give it a test. Okay. Okay, it squeezes it quite a bit, which I'm not a big fan of. This is the first time using it. As you can see, squeeze it right there, and it kind of leaves these little kinks, which means, yeah, there will be stress points there. Let's see if we can manipulate it a little bit. Okay, so we squeeze, but we just rotate. No. No, still does it. Alright, not a big fan of this, because as you can see, it totally pinches it, which creates these stress lines, and later on, if it's too much stressed, I feel like that's where the butte line would pop. But knowing that this end will be going inside here and being crimped around, well, should be okay. Should be okay. Okay, so in fact, I'm just gonna hope that it will be okay for this one. Cool. I better stop ranting on, show you the place we'll be working on, starting off, and then we'll go from there. That's where we need to connect to the pipe. Come out here. I'm thinking to the back of this beam that I've got. I'm gonna go up all the way there. So I'm thinking go up here. Yep. Put a T-junction. Go down there. All the way there. Another elbow. Go down. Sorry, I'll turn off the fan. Another elbow. And feed out that hole there. Once it comes out, this is where we'll be putting our tap on. Cool. I'm just gonna start a little bit by bit and go from there. Here we are. This is our first place. Unfortunately, it is a little bit hard to get to because everything's in the way. That's okay. Already turned off the water. Just gonna unscrew that. Use a little basin to capture the water, and we'll put one of our fittings on. The first one. Sorry, had the wrong one. So this is what I'm gonna put on that end there. Cool. Let's get it started. Here we go. Just put that on. I've got the whole pipe attached, and the reason is I'm going to cut it shortly. That space is a little bit tight. Everything's in the way, but we managed to do it. Most important part, trying to grab all the tools you'll need in there, and we captured most of the water that ran out, which is good. Now we're just gonna work this around and figure out how we're gonna put an emergency shut-off valve just somewhere here. So if any of the tap starts to leak, you can just come in, twist, and it's off. Sweet. Just in the process of attaching these parts as per the diagram. The shut-off valve, it's a bit of a tedious process. But one thing I want to point out, I bought high quality thread tape, and good thing I bought heaps, like 3 meters or so. which is yeah, it gonna cost you a couple more dollars, but I can notice that I keep cutting things off here and there, and for these threads they're real loose, so I need to put heaps of thread tape on, and if I only bought one mitre it would have definitely run out. So planning forward, just buy more than you'll need, because it's a DIY job and you don't want to run out and do a half-ass job and then climb in and try and fix it again. Here we are, plenty of thread tape, nice and tight. Just looking at the fittings, I noticed that this one, focus you, is bent out of shape. I'm not too sure if I accidentally stepped on it, but doesn't look like, focus, but doesn't look like any concrete scrape marks which I would have stepped on. So check your fittings, guys, if you're gonna buy. I just hope the pipe fits in and everything works out well. So the idea is it's gonna stay there, beam is gonna be where my hand is, and to turn it off you twist it this way. Cool. So I'm going to put it in an off position at the moment. Not too sure how to fix it to the post. Can't drill any holes, of course, which just sucks. But I'm just going to use a couple of zip ties, put it on there, and then we'll see how it goes. So we've made this. I decided to make it just a little piece of wood that I can place this on top and put a couple of zip ties. I pre-cut the channels so that the zip ties can fit in and won't get in the way. A couple of screw holes just so we can mount it, and it'll be nice and secure, because I don't want this running around anywhere, and need a good point of reference. Trying to eyeball it, where is it going to go over the pipe? No, you just want something solid so you can measure off nice and even. Cool. Not going to dwell how I made this. It's just scrap wood, grinder, and a drill bit. So all done. Let's see if we can secure it. So just going to take a couple of screws, shove them in there, and get it hooked on. Cool. Just deciding on the height that I want to put this little one on. Obviously I don't want it too low, otherwise the pipe kinks too much, and I don't want it too high so you can't see it. So I'm going about chest height, which is should be easy to spot, and I decided to put it on this way and not like behind there, because if you do put it there and there's some kind of leak or drip, it'll be real hard to spot. Plus it'll be going into less desirable area. Well, this whole area is less desirable, but it'll be a lot difficult to spot where the problem is coming from. So try to keep it around there, and we got our little tool to help us out. Nice and secure. This is the reason why I didn't cut off any lengths yet. It's because I don't know how long I'll need. If we straighten out, it should be alright. Problem is, I feel like it should be behind that pipe, so I might have to move things around and see if I can skip that over and go behind it, because I can put a secure hook on there, which I bought, and then it'll be nice and stiff here. It's holding on there all right. Here we go, pipe is cut. I do put marks on them just so I know that it's going all the way in, because if you take it out, so this is where the external mark is, which should be the length of focus of the grippy bit here, because the last thing I want to do is not put it far enough and it buggers out on me. So it looks not too bad. it is a little bit tight, so I feel like just putting one of these just to hold it in place there, because you gotta understand pipes are gonna move tiny bit over time, so you gotta let them, you know, kind of play. So thinking somewhere there. It is putting a little bit of pressure on this joint, but yeah, I feel like should handle there. So I would like it to be there, but I feel like this position would be a little bit better. Cool. I'm just gonna clip that on and nail that in. So a quick rummage around. I found these carbide tipped drill bits. You can get them at like a ruble shop or 2 ruble shop. These obviously aren't 2 rubles, but anyway, it's good to have. They are cheap, so hence 4-6 holes and we should be good. It already paid for itself. I'm going to start off with a little one, the smallest one that comes in, because I want to use the actual template as a guide. Drill it in. This one is a little bit bigger, doesn't quite in, because once I finish drilling with that, I can come in, put one of these little, whatever they're called, once I remember I'll tell you. And then I do have stainless steel screws that I can use to secure it. Yeah, they're short, but they don't need to be long. They just need to grab on a little bit to this and it should be alright. I do have bigger ones, but I feel like this is just an overkill for, you know, something that's holding on. Shouldn't have too much pressure on it, it's just overkill. So yeah, let's go and do it. Unfortunately, I don't have a percussion drill, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this one. We'll try with this, see how it works. And here we go. First problem, I pushed a little bit too hard and drill bit completely bent. As you can see, it didn't snap. Hence the metal is just, you know, low carbide. I did manage to drill one. It's going in alright into the brick, which is what counts. So I'm going to just change it up and see if we can finish the job. There we go, holes are drilled, screws are secure. I decided to go for longer screws just because I did put a little bit of tape on there. That's just to make sure that none of the dirt goes in. Now we need to go on the other side and start feeding these ones in. Cool. This is the side of the garage that you don't get to see often. Wow, it kind of works. Don't even need a T-junction. Just kidding. So it feeds up, just keeps going along the way. That's the other side of the garage door. And perfect. So I'm just gonna put a L shape there. And after that, yeah, I don't even need another one. I thought I'll keep it straight like from there, but this pipe is bendy enough to feel like absolutely no need for it, which is great. So which means just gotta secure it kind of there, keep it a little more or less straight, it is out of the way next to the power cables, but they're both plastic, so they shouldn't conduct. So over here, since I've got it like this, I might even just put a T-junction right here, so that way everything is invisible. So if any issues, leaks, you can easily see any joints that are leaking, instead of post planing first to put it up there. But I feel like if you put it up there, it'll be way too hard to see what's going on. Technically speaking, T-junction could have gone in here, but as I said, I want to have this switch, aka shut off valve, to stop the water. Sweet, so that's how we're gonna do it. Just gonna start from that end, work our way back, and then complete the spot for today. Here we go, all crimped up, a little bit tight for the crimper, but managed it. And we're saving on one of the elbows. It's going up through the corner, nice and wide bend. Use one of the clips to secure it. It's kind of nice, loosey-goosey. That's what you want. You don't want the pipes too tight. Nice and good, loose. Keeps going. Put another securing bracket on there, and now it's finally out here. So we just got to install the T-junction somewhere here. I'm thinking, yeah, just around here. See how sharp it takes the bend. Just push it around, just make sure that it doesn't kink too much, or there's no weight, so it's not crushing through that corner. And yeah, we'll go from there. Just installing the T-junction. I had to go in and zip tie it up a little bit, because yeah, the bends are pushing it in all sorts of funny directions, and I want it nice and straight. As you can see, yeah, there's a little bit of strain on it, and it is rubbing up there, but nothing major. I think the butte line should handle it. Most importantly, it's not kinking over the sharp bend over there, just here, which is good enough. But although, we'll see. Just going to play around with it a little bit more and then crimp it up, and then we'll be ready to feed the line through there, going all the way there into the deep dark unknown. T-junction is in place, crimped up, and crimped up. So I haven't nailed that one in, but yeah, somewhere there will be alright. I could potentially turn on the water and test it, see if it's leaking here and over there, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But we'll be very careful not to turn this on, so we turn off the water flow, it's just going to gush out here and other places that we don't want it. Let's go do that and see what the result. The water pressure is on. I'm just going to get you, not going to turn it on yet because it's not plugged up. And I don't see any drips there. Let's zoom in. So it's all good. Zoom out. I was worried there was going to be a few drips here, because this one is not as tight as the top one. But we'll see, only time will tell. We do have some pre-existing drips. That's when before I crimp this up, it was just coming up, just flowing down, which is alright. But yeah, water's on. We're gonna go have a little break, get our full PPE on before we climb into the unknown.